Good evening. My name is Wallace Bradley, and I'm the host of the Bradley Report. I'm also the president of United in Peace, Inc. We got an interesting show tonight. We're talking about the DNC. I'm going to be a part of a round table where CAN TV is working with someone from BBC. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about how police brutality is constantly in the news. We're going to talk about Mark Maxson. Also, the issues that's being presented for this show by none other than the chairman of United in Peace, Inc., and that's Terry Marsh Bradley. I'm so blessed that she's my wife. She's also, like I say, the chairman of United in Peace, Inc. This show is being presented by United in Peace Incorporated. And the key that's so important, my friend Harold Nooney Ward, as gang member, but we worked together in the 90s to help stop the violence. He's pushing a voter registration drive. It seems like Vice President Kamala Harris and her running mate, I believe it's Timothy Waltz, that's W-A-L with the Z, has brought hope to the people. I had a T-shirt on that says, "I'm rolling with Kamala." And I was at the Budgeting Day Parade. And to see all these young adults and the babies, the grandparents and the parents, everyone out there, and they all saying that they rolling with Kamala. And when I see the young babies saying that, they're not even 17, 15, some of them look like they was about 8 years old. So that let me know that they ain't just out there twerking. They listening to their parents and their grandparents are not telling them, get out the room and stay out of grown folks' conversation. They understanding when the 2025 is talking about getting rid of education. They wondering, do that mean that they will not be allowed to go to school? I think we got 82 days somewhere or another, but we're gonna make it do what it do. So Sister Amani, to God be the glory. That's my story. Let's go to work. You know, this story right here is where Statesville is the same penitentiary that I was in. And they closing it because of the condition, the inhumane conditions. They got another penitentiary that they need to close, and that is Menard. They're closing the women penitentiary, which is Logan. They closing Statesville and Logan to remodel it. Wow. When you hear remodeling, you're thinking about affordable housing. They're going to spend $900 million to redo those institutions and to make it where individuals that's going into them institutions can come out rehabilitated, just like I did. But there's a young man by the name of Mark Maxson. He was tortured by the Chicago police to confessing to a crime that he didn't do. And he gave his own DNA of his own free will because he knew he hadn't committed the crime. He was locked up for 24 years. I end up becoming his urban translator. In 2013, we got him out in 2016 because based on the DNA, they were able to catch the person that really did the murder. He stayed in the neighborhood, but he ended up killing someone else. So they had took his DNA. So when they put the DNA back out there, they got a hit, they caught it. The city is paying private attorneys where they spent almost $4 million with the private attorneys to defend the officers that did what they did to Mark Maxson, to wrongfully convict him. Even though they had a law firm. So you're seeing all on the news where they're saying they're spending too much money with these private attorneys. And they still have to pay for the settling of those cases. Sister Monty, could you hit that next story? Man, hey, you know I got a show called The Brutality Report.
Yes, yes.
I want to first of all thank you for the executive thing that you put down.
Yes.
This is one of the young brothers, Mark Maxson. It was a bird torture victim that I was talking about when I went to the budget hearing for the law department.
Yes.
And your new chairman of the finance committee, she knows about him. She has everything. The wonderful thing about this, he's the only one that got a certificate of innocence where the individual was caught. And he's now doing 50 years. So within your power of transparency, if you can ask, the law department just to look into it to help stop the waste of taxpayers' money, where those lawyers, in this case, the lawyers supposed to be representing the city.
Right.
They got $4 million for a case that they know they can't win. You want to say something to the mayor, man?
Yes. My thing is, I came for it, and I was helpful. I was in my community. I was a worker. I'm a worker now. I'm a caregiver. I've been home 8 years. The city has never apologized to me. The city has never literally said, I've seen 3 mayors. You're the 3rd mayor. And I'm not saying you owe me that apology.
Carried out, by John Burge. Justice in this situation. There's still a lot of work to be done. So Mr. Bradley knows me and fully aware of how this city has treated our people over the course of decades. And one of the areas in which we have to fix and get right is real accountability with law enforcement and making sure that we are moving towards what I've already established, this commitment around restoration and reparation. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you. He's up, Mark Maxson, and the city now are trying to bring him compensation for being incarcerated for 24 years. On the 15th of August, I'm going to read this to you. The court has reviewed the parties' pre-conference settlement letters. Off-the-record telephonic conference with plaintiffs is set for 8/15/2024 at 11 a.m. The off-record telephonic conference with the defendants is set for 8:15 at 12 o'clock p.m. The telephone conference dial-in information will be provided to the respective parties prior to the call. If either party objects to the off-the-record ex parte discussions in the furtherance of the settlement, that party shall promptly contact the court's courtroom deputy to note their objection. The court will set a status hearing if an objection is received, to discuss it with the parties. What that does, the pre-conference that they had, Mark Maxon's lawyer had to write a letter to the city's attorneys, not from the law department, the private attorneys that represent the police officers that did him wrong. And they decide what they want and what they're trying to do. Then it goes to where the judge, the magistrate says, after he's read the letters, because you have to send to the judge too, to make the decision that, hey, there's a chance that if this guy go to court, he got a certificate of innocence. There's closure with the families of the victims because the individual got caught who committed the crime, pled guilty, and is now doing 50 years. So there's no way the city can win this case in court. So because everything is shut down in the city of Chicago this August, not just because of the DNC, but because normally they take August off. So all this will be straight come September. And then you'll hear them making a determination that they have settled the case. But the most important thing that Mark Maxon said when he spoke to the mayor, Mayor, you the third mayor. He spoke, we sent word to Daley. No, he sent word to Rahm Emanuel, sent word to Lori. Now he's sending word, he spoke to the mayor, and he said he wants an apology along with his compensation from the city. And he'd like for the mayor to give him that apology. I hope that happens come September. Sister Money, could you hit the next story? Oh, I want to say to God be the glory. I know the law department is coming up today. And one of my concerns is after I saw the story on Channel 7, where the city has spent over $1 billion given to private attorneys for cases that they know they can't win. That creates a hole within the city budget. Specifically, I want to talk about Mark Maxon. Mark Maxon is an individual that was locked up for 28 years. He got free because they found the individual who committed the murder. He get released. He get a certificate of innocence. The individual who committed the murder pleaded guilty, ended up getting 50 years. He wrote a letter to the family saying he was sorry. He wrote a letter to Mark Maxon saying that he was sorry for what he did. They videotaped his confession. But my thing is, and I think I've been speaking about this since 2016, when the chairman of the finance committee was just a member on the finance committee, and she asked the question, because y'all need to be aware of what's happening by y'all being the clients. These private law firms is not getting paid from the law department. They getting paid from, I guess, the full budget that y'all put together, and you're wondering where that money come from. Mark Maxon has, the lawyers, the two law firms have received close to $3.5 million. The law department has the common sense, in my opinion, as a lawyer, know full well this is a case that we can't win. But because two law firms, just two in that case, guarantee if you ask for a follow-up with that other law firm, it'll be 3.5 or close to $4 million. That's got nothing to do with you selling the suit. This last case I saw, and I'm glad that the alderman asked the question about his pension, the policeman's pension. The question should have been asked, how much money did those private law firms get? And you still had to pay that individual $27 million. I'm just saying, clean it up. It ain't the mayor's fault what's happening. It ain't your fault what's happening. Tell your law firm that y'all. That's me speaking before the budget committee. That's the budget chairman. The young lady you may saw to your far right sitting down, handing the paper to the chairman. That's my wife. We got to do everything that we can to help make things right, especially dealing with the government to help make things right. That's why I'm now Dr. Wallace Bradley. Got my doctorate degree, honorary doctorate degree in urban ministry and social justice. But I broke that down because it goes to the finance committee. They will make the determination what the settlement is, then it goes back to the budget committee, then it goes to the full city council to vote on it. So if it's God's will, that'll be settled come September. So let's talk about that DNC that's coming to town. So, Sister Monty, could you hit that story about the DNC?
Get ready for exclusive, hyper-local coverage of the Democratic National Convention with CAN TV. Join Hugo Balta and Andy Zopp for Chicago Politics, bringing you special live editions every night from 7 to 8 p.m. Our dynamic duo will analyze the biggest moments of the DNC, featuring expert analysis and unique insights from top political, civic, and community leaders. Expect special guests each night to provide diverse perspectives on the issues that matter most. Don't miss a minute of our live coverage starting Monday, August 19th at 7 p.m. on CAN TV Cable Channel 19. You can also stream it live on cantv.org or on the CAN TV Plus app. Your front row seat to the DNC is right here, only on CAN TV. Hyperlocal news, in-depth analysis. Experience the power of community television.
You know, that's very profound about CAN TV. It's 40 years old. And when they was bringing cable to town, the legislative body of the city council and Mayor Harold Washington said it has to be a public venue so the people can feel comfortable with being able to be about freedom of speech and do their shows. So I want to say hooray, hooray for what Darius, the executive director, is doing with his vision for CAN TV and what he's doing with the young ladies. I don't want to get my sister's name wrong that's in the room with Amani. I'm just going to say to both of y'all, I want to say hooray, hooray, because y'all helped me look like I'm professional. You see, I got an ascot on instead of a towel. I seem like I'm moving on up to the east side. That's a joke. But hey, the DNC is no joke. It's happening in Chicago. The young man that's with the sister that's going to be around the round table, and a lot of us going to be around the round table. You know what I mean? So the guy that's going to be there, I think he's from BBC. But before I get out of here, I want to let you know the importance of why you got to register to vote. You can't hope Trump out. You got to vote to put Vice President Kamala Harris and her vice president choice in the name of democracy and humanity. We can't let Trump win, so we can't pray him out, but don't stop praying. We can't hope him out, but don't give up on hope. But you got to vote and don't choke. Sister Monty, could you put that piece up with Harold Nooney Ward about voter registration?
It's Harold Nooney Ward. We got an important election coming up. We need you to participate. And the only way you can make history with us is you register to vote. On August 18, 2024, we have a voting registration drive at Fish's, 11901 South Loomis. We ask you to come out and register vote from 17 years old on from 12 o'clock noon till 6 o'clock noon. Come join us, register to vote.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Jason Weaver here at the Blood Billiken Day Parade, and I just want to tell y'all the importance of getting out and voting.
It's very important to register to vote. I'm not telling you who to vote for, but register. And if you're not sure if you're registered, you need to check.
Listen, if we want change and we need change in this country, you got to get out and register to vote.
If we vote, we can make sure we have our representation.
Register and go vote.
This is the Bud Billiken Parade. It's a marker that we are in the middle of an election season. So it's important that you get out and exercise your power, exercise your vote. It's Mayor Brandon Johnson. Love y'all.
That's my guy. We got one more piece I want you to see to come up to show you how much money they paying to them private lawyers to defend corrupt officers. And they got to stop on that. Could you run that headline so they can, let me see. Hold on 1 minute. I'm gonna read something to you. It says the 2023 annual litigation report was published online in June by the law department without any notice to the public or the city council. The city council didn't even know that it was published. They didn't receive a notice. It was published in June 2023. Okay. Which has never held a hearing about the data. Repeated calls by the Inspector General for Chicago officials to systematically track the number of settled lawsuits and their costs has fallen on deaf ears. There's certain aldermen that has been asking the chairman of the finance committee to have hearings. Now that this story came out on WTTW the other day, maybe they will have hearings in September. Let me read this and I'm through. City officials do not track which police officers are accused of misconduct in the lawsuits that result in a jury verdict or a settlement. That means officers who are repeatedly named in the lawsuits that are resolved by payouts are not disciplined, retrained, or offered counseling in an effort to prevent additional lawsuits. In 2017, the Department of Justice urged city officials to review settlements and judgments on a broader scale to spot for trends, identify officers most frequently sued, and determine ways to reduce both the cost of the cases and the underlying officer misconduct. I've been saying this since 2016, and I'm saying it now. Mayor Brandon Johnson, you've been elected by the people to bring forth transparency, to honor the decree, to stop wasteful spending of taxpayers' dollars. In your administration, you got a new corporate counsel. You got a new chairman of the budget committee, the finance committee, the rules committee. And I pray that you be the first mayor to apologize, starting with Mark Maxson, for the wrong that the Chicago police officers has done to the residents in the city of Chicago, especially the wrongfully convicted. Mark Maxson's case, to God be the glory, the family of the victim, the little boy, they have the individual, his name is Osborne Wade. They want to apologize to the family, pled guilty. He's now serving 50 years for what he did to that young boy. He apologized to Mark Maxson. After they go before the judge and the judge makes the determination, I'm of the opinion and belief that when they come back before the finance committee or the budget committee, they're going to present monies, compensation for Mark Maxson. With that, I want to say to God be the glory. That's my story. And don't go down to the DNC and start no riot. They're going to beat your head.